right, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And we have outstanding guests here. I mean, they have been working for years. I haven't had them on the show for a couple of years, but we have Dr. Jonathan. Tell us, Dr. Jonathan, what's going on here with this collective banking? It used to be collective banking group. Now it's the Collective Endowment Group.
Collective Empowerment Group, yes.
And this is Dr. Jonathan Weaver.
Yeah.
Right.
We changed the name approximately 2 years ago to really represent the change that was taking place within our own movement, within this movement. Formerly called, of course, the Collective Banking Group.
Right.
Because our emphasis was largely on how the faith community in the Washington metropolitan area could indeed interface more effectively with banks and other financial institutions. But we also came to the recognition that we were doing far more than that when it comes to empowering the members of our churches, hence the change to the Collective Empowerment Group, simply because we wanted to recognize publicly that we were involved in empowering people politically, not only economically, but also the physical well-being. So it's really a holistic approach that we're taking to the work now.
Along with it, with us, we have Dr. Beverly. Beverly Lofton. She's the manager. She does all the work. Then you got Dr. Diane Johnson, and she's his left and right hand. You know what I mean?
Remember that.
He said, "Remember that." But really, the organization has grown so much and is done. I don't know if we have time to go through all of that. Why don't you start and tell us about the chapters that have been developed since that time?
Yes, we started as an organization back in 1995. So we've been around now for 17 years. Yeah. But largely because we're still unique. There is, in fact, to the best of my knowledge, even after 17 years, no other group in the United States that does what we do. We've now created chapters, however. We have one in the city of Baltimore, one in Charlotte, North Carolina, Miami, Florida, Austin, Texas, and now Cincinnati, Ohio. We still have expressions of interest from other cities around the country, as well as cities in other parts of the world. We've had people, pastors that have called wanting to know whether or not it might be possible to create a chapter in places like London, but also in parts of Africa as well. So we're not sure what the future holds, but for the moment we've got 6 chapters, and Reverend Dr. Diane Johnson does a superb job as the executive director of the local chapter.
Right. Well, now, a lot of people, they don't understand, basically, what are you doing as far as your organization concerned? You know, the banking group, when your name was banking, people understand you dealt with. Are you doing anything else other than associating yourself with
Absolutely, and really I'll defer to Reverend Johnson to really, and perhaps even Sister Beverly Lofton to articulate the kinds of things that we're doing. But yes, I think even what happened with the change of name 2 years ago was really a recognition that for a number of years we had been doing things beyond just relating to banks. But really, Dr. Johnson and Sister Beverly can perhaps share a little bit more about that.
Okay.
I'd be glad to.
Okay, Dr. Johnson.
One of the things that we are really excited about is that we have always looked to empower small businesses. And so now we're turning our attention. We have some outstanding entrepreneurial efforts that we are putting our collectiveness behind. Most recently, Blue Delta water company, is African American who bottles water, alkaline-based water.
Is that right?
Yes, yes, we're excited about that.
Where is the base?
He's right here in Forestville, Maryland.
Is that right?
Yes.
African American?
African American, and he's coming on board as a partner, and I believe that this is going to help empower our community as we start talking about those things that can help us stay healthy. And we know that we consume a lot of water, and we're paying for water that maybe if we reinvest a little differently, then we can reap the benefits of the alkaline water. As well as we're working with a representative from Mass Mutual Financial Services, try to talk to our people about long-term care You know, so many of us are working hard every day and haven't thought to look down the road a little bit. Long-term care, gift of a lifetime in terms of protecting our young people so that they can have financial protection through insurance, and then as well as charitable giving. Prayerfully, some of our church members will consider taking out policies and naming their church as beneficiary. And that'll help us sustain the churches, because we know that there certainly has been a decrease in the offering plate. And if we can do something that can help our churches down the road to sustain themselves, then we have certainly empowered the church community as well.
Okay, Beverly, you let us know that 9 to 5 thing that you're working on. I mean, it's, you know, these guys, they probably travel around a lot, but you know, you always need somebody to rein them in, you know, let them know what's going on.
Well, one of our other major initiatives is to empower through education. So we're embarking on a series of monthly workshops, and we're calling that our Empowerment Institute. We're asking for at least 10 churches to be involved, and they would host a workshop once a month. So we would have 10 workshops going every month on such topics as financial literacy for children and adults. There's insurance.
Wow.
Do you have the right kind of insurance for individuals, families, or churches? We have, we just partnered with Marshall March Funeral Home, who want to come to our churches and share with our congregations about planning for those final arrangements and to manage for grief management. So those are some of the things that we're looking at, not only just to empower pastors, but to empower those sitting in the pews.
Yeah, that one item that you mentioned about the youngsters, tell me a little more about that, because I think that's, we always have to remember they're the future.
Right. The goal there is to start young people early in their lives on how to save money.
Right.
You know,
hey,
how to save money.
All of us
how
need that.
to, in some of the older college students, how to, you know, in college.
Exposure.
Exposure, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And that's done through our banking partners. We have Industrial Bank, and we have a new partner, Andrews Federal Credit Union, who offer those workshops to our members.
Is that right?
Yes.
So they're actually participating in your program.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
And they will go to the churches and provide those workshops at the churches once a month.
And how do you get the youngsters interested in something like that?
Well, the churches, a lot of churches have youth ministries, so the children from those ministries come into the workshops, and the programs, they start them very early. Sometimes they even go into the schools to do that. To even at 5 years old, children can learn how to save money.
I see. Now, with a program like that, do you try to get the parents to come along with them?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Because that's you know, that's always a good thing, you know, to get the parent involved in something like that.
Parents are involved. Parents give the children an allowance, and it teaches the children, first of all, maybe to tithe, you know, right off the top, and then the savings part, and then how to spend wisely, how to become wise consumers.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the idea, is that the young people, they have to get involved in something like that, and having a program like that is just outstanding.
Well, and also when you talk about the children in particular, the whole issue of developing within them a discipline of saving money. We have a tendency to know what it means to be great spenders.
Oh, yes.
But really, I think if we can begin at a young age, and what Industrial Bank is doing is now prepared to come out to places of worship, even on a Sunday morning, and to set up a desk or a table outside of the sanctuary so that immediately after the service, people can go, parents, guardians with the children, and make a deposit or to open an account right there on the spot. And so the child gets to see it. That child then sees how their account is growing month after month, and it'll captivate them when it's time for them to think about turning from savings into investing. And so, but it has to start somewhere, and it's a good thing to be able to start at a young age.
Right, great. But what about the senior citizens? You know, so many seniors now are out there, and they're trying to, some of them, they lose their mate or something, they really need help.
Well, one of the ways, and I suspect through our institute, is to be able to take a look at teaching our elders how to avoid scams.
Right. That's the key.
Yeah, because oftentimes they can be very innocent and accepting of people calling over the phone or
Right.
even knocking at the door. But we need to at least be able to, and one of the workshops is going to be focusing on that, so that we can have people, for example, from the Economic Crimes Unit in the State's Attorney's Office, they are in Upper Marlboro,
Excellent.
to be able to
Excellent.
come and to be able to share with our seniors the things to avoid so that they
Yes.
don't fall into that trap.
So they'd be aware of the different scams that's going around, because
Absolutely.
here lately that has been the thing. To the fact that the people that are doing it, they're reading obituaries and then they're lining people up.
Sure.
Imagine that,
Right,
and
right.
knowing that the person is under stress. You know what I mean? So they go forward and ask them for money, or have a deal where they, give them nothing for nothing.
Right.
But I'm glad to hear that. So anyone interested in getting involved with that, they can just call your office and what?
Yes, you can call our office. And last
Yeah.
month at our general membership meeting, the focus of that meeting was empowering our senior community. And we
Yes.
had the Secretary of the Maryland Secretary of Aging was at our
Right.
office, and they offer a wide variety of services to seniors that a lot of seniors are not aware of.
Right.
So they want to
Exactly.
partner with us to
I
help
get it
get
on
the
the
word
show
out.
all the time about the different people, that are being really scammed, where they under stress, mental stress, and they actually read the obituary, just like we read the newspaper. They say, who died last week, you know what I mean? And they pounce right on them. But I'm glad that your organization is considering that and doing something for that. Now, what about mentors in your organization for the young people? Quite often the young people, they don't realize how valuable that saving is and money is. Now, if it was an iPad 5 or what, they know all about that. But they have a tendency not to be involved in that. Are you all mentoring, having young people come in and show them your organization while they're in high school? Maybe coming to your organization and just you take them up under your arms there.
I think it's a great idea. One of the things that we do, at least at a lot of our churches, because we can work with our high schoolers through their community service.
Yeah.
A lot of times when we have the various programs that are or scheduled at our churches, our young people are right there, registering people and signing up themselves. So we have not ventured into the schools themselves, but because we're the church, the church is in the schools.
You could do it through the church.
Yes.
In fact, you could pass it on where the mentoring, where you have a program where they can volunteer to come in and see your operation, how it operates. Most of the youngsters, they're not aware of that, The only thing they're aware of is spending. Now, that doesn't have to be taught.
Well, one of the things that we did a number of years ago that perhaps we do need to revive, and that is when we've had our community economic empowerment conferences, for several years we had a component was specifically for the young people.
Yeah.
That was focusing on savings, investments, career opportunities within the financial industry. And so you're absolutely right, in order to really reach them, to let them know that there's other opportunities beyond something in the entertainment field or athletics. And so we've done that in the past, and clearly something that we need to do again.
Because I think it's so important that they actually be aware of this thing. It's easy for them to get, I'm going to say with electronics and everything, but the church, what you can do is get them involved. In fact, have it so that you can set up a scholarship program where you help them with getting scholarships, and how, as far as like you're doing with the senior citizens, educate them to the point that in getting a scholarship, what they have to do in order to maintain it. See, a lot of youngsters get scholarships and then they get in there and they drop out. The dropout rate is just out of sight.
I think one of the things,
because they don't know how to manage their money. They have a scholarship, but they imagine what do it cost? About $40,000 down to go to school. You know what I mean?
Per year.
Per year. And then when you graduate, hey, look, you got a house note. You know, you got what, $160,000, $170,000. Imagine that. I know if they had that, when I was going to school, I couldn't go to school because it was out of sight. You know, the scholarships there would run $5,000, $5,000 a semester, man. That's crazy now. You know what I mean? You can't even get one semester for $5,000.
Oh no, you can't even hardly buy a book for $5,000. Your book stipend is almost is running around $1,000 now. Yeah. But one of the things you mentioned about technology, and one of the benefits of the church is that the church too is moving in the technological era. So a lot of the skills and a lot of the knowings that young people have really helped the churches and the leadership be able to stream their services or to videotape, or I guess they don't videotape anymore, but those things that they do to make the service available to persons that are not actually sitting in the pew. And so the young people really have embraced that, and the church have embraced the young people doing that, because there's a lot of it, for us, it's difficult because we didn't grow up with that, and our young people are growing up with it.
Yeah. But as far as the youngsters, utilize them in a mentoring program, because finance is the backbone of everything. Richard Wright, the great poet, said, "You're not free unless you're economically free."
That's right.
And this is a theme that I always tell people. You know, they figure they got 2 houses, 4 cars, a boat, and all, they got it made. But that's not it. You got to have economics, dealing with banking, dealing with investments, things of that nature.
And also the elimination of debt. I think that in the world in which we live now, recognizing that yes, we're still in the throes of some economically hard times, but I think that part of what our ministry and the movement has been about is, yes, helping people to understand how to best manage the financial resources that God has entrusted them, not only on the church level, but yes, even individually, because most of the work of the Collective Empowerment Group is driven by trying to change the behavior of the persons in our pews or chairs on Sunday morning, but also, yes, making sure that they're being treated fairly by the banks and financial institutions. But a large part of it, when we talk about empowerment, comes through information.
Information.
Definitely.
That's it. If you don't have that information. Well, speaking of money and everything, what position has your organization taken as far as the lottery is concerned? I know you've been very active, Dr. Weeder, but give us a little breakdown.
Well, specifically on this most recent question that's on the ballot in November here for those of us living in Maryland, is question number 7. That would authorize a casino to be built in Prince George's County. As you've already mentioned, through the Collective Banking Group and now the Collective Empowerment Group, we have consistently opposed any increase of gambling in Prince George's County. When I say any increase, because regrettably, lottery has been in existence in Prince George's County for some time now. In fact, it preceded our existence. But having said that, we are vehemently opposed to the possibility of a casino. The reality is that right now, if we're talking about branding and looking at the image of this county, that's the last thing that we need to have. I know that the proponents of a casino would argue that we need new revenue. I submit to you that when you consider looking at other sources of revenue, looking at other jobs that could come through securing federal government moving their offices here, or looking at technology types of businesses, but rather than to have a casino that would bring poor paying jobs, to be perfectly honest with you, and in fact would have a negative impact on our community. We are already being threatened by a number of foreclosures. We have the second highest rate of foreclosures in the state of Maryland. And I'm afraid that people that are living in proximity to that casino would fall prey to that, and perhaps even have them to go over the cliff. Also, we just had, through our state government, an increase in taxes for a number of people, the residents of the state of Maryland, and yet given to the casino owners a tax break. And so when it comes to having a casino come here, the casino owners would win and the residents would lose.
I see. So now, as far as your organization is concerned, I know that you've been very active and your organization has been active. Now, what are some of the things that you're proposing to take place of that?
Well, we are, in fact, as an organization at the local chapter here in Prince George's County, we'll take a position where we're indicating that the collective empowerment group made up of 100 plus churches are standing in complete opposition to question number 7. We certainly have had a number of our pastors already speak about this from the pulpit Sunday after Sunday, and we'll certainly be encouraging them to continue to do so and looking to mobilize other churches and people of goodwill even outside of the collective empowerment group membership. This is something that, quite frankly, we do not need. We've had people that are even outside of Prince George's County sharing with us that they support having a casino. My argument would be that if you feel that it's so good, why not have it in your county rather than having it in Prince George's County?
Well, that seems that they're supporting something here and they don't want it themselves.
Precisely.
Right.
And my argument would be that if you don't feel that it's good enough for your county, why should it be good for us?
Okay, tell me a little bit about the future. What do you have planned in the future for your organization?
We're excited. Yeah, here I come.
Right, here you come.
We're excited. Matter of fact, at our meeting coming up very soon, our president, Pastor Anthony Macklin, who is the pastor of the sanctuary at Kingdom Square, along with the leadership of the Bricklayers Local 1 here in Washington, D.C. and vicinity, we're signing a memorandum of understanding to train persons for bricklaying.
Great.
So we're excited about that. We're hoping that they'll get trained, and then we'll have places that they can be employment sites, trying to go after the unemployment rate and to get our young people, and not necessarily young people, but persons who need to be retrained.
Right.
And so that's the first step along that way. So that is exciting for us, and we're looking to have great opportunities come out of that. And of course, as a part of that training, because we're involved, those young people or those persons who are going through the training are going to get financial literacy training as well. So that as they are learning the trade and as they get the jobs, now what do you do with the money that you're getting so that you can be economically empowered?
One of the other things that we'll be doing in a few weeks is actually at a gathering recognizing small businesses from within our churches.
Great.
And so they will be at this event. We'll have an opportunity to recognize them. And the significance of that is with hundreds and hundreds of people there at this gathering, they will be able to see these businesses that are right here in Prince George's County, with an opportunity for us to be able to increase their business by virtue of the people that will be at that event. And so our whole thing has been about empowerment, and so this will be a wonderful opportunity for small businesses in Prince George's County to gain some further customers and clientele by virtue of this event.
Yeah, just like you gave information about this water bottling company. Name some businesses in Prince George County that you all have been involved with, you know, because just like I didn't know myself that it was minority owned. You know,
Well, we work with Pohanka. You know, Pohanka is just about to open up their brand new facilities right on the Beltway. We have an auto buying program with them, which if one of our members of our church buy a car, then there's a benefit. And plus, they promise them top service because they know that they're affiliated with the Collective Empowerment Group. We work with an organization called the Residents on Greenbelt, which is a assisted living facility. Excellent assisted living facility, because we need to have a place where we can recommend and that we can be confident that as we are look after our seniors, that they're placed in a good place, that they can live a full life as long as they live.
Those are things that you know I'm talking about. As positive things that's happening right here that you all are involved of. Dr. Weaver, tell us now. Your group has grown such in 17 years. What's the future? You talking about foreign countries, and how are you going to get involved with that?
I suspect that there will be opportunities for us to be able to move into other cities, not only around the country, but certainly in parts of Africa, parts of Europe. I think that there's no doubt, given the fact of our reach, and quite frankly, this can be replicated. That's the joy of it.
Well, name some of the foreign nations that you're involved with now.
South Africa, Ghana, for example. I was just in Rwanda, there in East Africa, about 2 months ago. Many people, of course, when they hear about Rwanda, the first thing that comes to mind is genocide, or the movie, which was about genocide. But I must say to the audience that, in fact, there's a tremendous transformation that has taken place in Rwanda. There's a booming economy, and again, having an opportunity to talk to some of the pastors there, it was very clear that indeed having something like the Collective Empowerment Group would be extremely beneficial. So I think we want to make sure that we're managing well the chapters that we have here, but at the same time with people
you're reaching out.
Absolutely,
right.
Absolutely.
Right, that's fantastic. I thought you were doing something positive, other than you were very modest about it. But as far as the government, how do you react with government? Are you involved with any of the programs?
Well, it's interesting you should mention that, because as Reverend Johnson alluded to, we've actually had most recently the Secretary for the Office on Aging from the state of Maryland to come to our last general membership meeting. But what we've also done, even on the federal level, I guess it's been about a year ago, we had representatives from 6 of the federal agencies to come, the heads of the faith-based offices within those agencies, to really, again, share with our churches various kinds of programs that were available, and in many cases, money, that is correct, that many of them were not aware of. That's right. But we've also had partnerships with the state before, particularly when it comes to people being affected by this housing crisis. And we've actually disseminated materials on behalf of the state of Maryland, and also reminded people about the offices, the Office of Community Development and Housing. So we've had partnerships on that level as well.
Good. Congratulations to your organizations, and like I said, you've grown leaps and bounds since you've been on the show, and you expanded, and you're hitting the young people, the senior citizens, and the business community. And if someone's interested in working with this crew, at the end of the show there's some phone numbers there. You take volunteers, don't you?
Happily so. Happily so.
Okay, this has been Ed Brown. See you next time.